Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is your personalized intelligence briefing from the AI Brief, episode 299. We're diving into your source material to pull out the clearest, most actionable insights for you today. We're tracking some major shifts. First up, how ethical AI ideas are finally turning into a real global policy framework. Then we'll look at the high-stakes race between Anthropic and OpenAI. It's quite the paradox. We've also got a fascinating story about a Gen Z founder using AI to totally revamp city infrastructure. GovTech's future, maybe. And finally, some big science news, Starship's latest flight, a potential dark matter clue, and a really strange theory about where human language came from. Okay, let's get started with that policy piece. It feels like the conversation around ethical AI is moving from just talk to, well, actual rules and structure. And the GAIME Conference 2025 in Kampala seems central to this.
It really does. We're talking 5,000 delegates, 180 countries converging in Uganda. And the core of it is this collaborative AI policy framework, the CAPF. What makes this different, I think, is the focus on operationalizing ethics. It's designed as a tool, something companies and governments can actually use to embed transparency, accountability, and measurable social impact into their AI systems. It's meant to be practical.
And the partnerships involved signal that practicality too, right? It's not just a think tank proposal.
Exactly. Formal agreements with the African Union Commission, with UNECA, the UN Economic Commission for Africa. This grounds it, gives it regional backing, and aims squarely at transparent data governance, building capacity. It feels like a genuine multi-stakeholder effort. So the key thing for you to grasp is that this represents a shift. We're moving towards verifiable ways to implement responsible AI, not just talk about it.
Okay, so from global policy to the intense competition in the AI market, Anthropic, the company positioning itself as a safer AI option, is trying hard to keep up with OpenAI. The valuations are just staggering. OpenAI at $500 billion, but Anthropic itself is already at, what, $183 billion? That's huge.
It is huge. But beyond the numbers, the interesting part is the strategic tension Anthropic faces. Their whole brand is built on safety and transparency, but that's getting tested.
Tested how? You mean publicly?
Yeah, publicly and politically. You've got figures like David Sachs being quite critical. But at the same time, they're landing major government deals. That $200 million Department of Defense contract, for instance.
Ah, right. So how do you square being the safe AI company while also working closely with the military? That's the tension.
Yeah, precisely. How do you maintain that ethical high ground when national security becomes a major client? Their answer seems to be this new National Security Advisory Council. They're essentially trying to align their Claude models with U.S. interests, framing safety not just as a principle, but as a feature that makes their AI suitable, maybe even preferable, for these kinds of sensitive applications. It's a balancing act.
It's definitely threading a needle. Okay, let's zoom in now, down to the city level. This is really interesting. A Gen Z startup, Civil, is making waves in GovTech. They're tackling something super fundamental, assessing roads, sidewalks, that kind of infrastructure, using a sensor kit, LiDAR, and their own AI.
The impact is pretty dramatic. We're talking about enabling cities to stretch their infrastructure budgets way further. The old way was slow, manual, expensive. Civil's system automates that assessment, so instead of taking months, it's rapid. The claim is municipalities can pave up to 4 times the road mileage for the same cost. That's significant savings.
But wait, LiDAR mapping isn't brand new. Big engineering firms use it. What's Civil's AI actually doing that's so different? Is it just faster mapping?
Good question. It's not just faster mapping. The AI is the key differentiator. It doesn't just spot the cracks or the problems using the LiDAR data.
Yeah.
It immediately translates that data into actionable repair plans and budget forecasts. It automates the decision support. So it tells the city, here are your priorities, here's roughly what it will cost based on your criteria. That's the bit that saves the months of engineering analysis. They're selling the outcome, the efficiency gain.
Got it. So the AI bridges the gap between raw data and actual budget decisions. That makes sense why they're getting traction. Over 400 municipalities partnered, 100 plus active clients. That's concrete progress.
Definitely concrete.
Literally.
Literally.
All right, let's shift gears now to some major science news. A bit of a broader view. First, SpaceX had another successful Starship test, number 11.
Yep, a big one. They achieved that controlled splashdown in the Indian Ocean. More importantly, this flight tested key heat shield upgrades and landing maneuvers needed for the next version.
So this wasn't just another test flight in the sequence.
Seems not. Gwynne Shotwell, SpaceX's president, basically confirmed this was the final flight for this prototype series. The next Starship iteration is the one intended for actual Moon and Mars missions with people. So, end of testing, start of the operational buildup, big step.
Yeah. Okay. From hardware aiming for Mars to the mysteries of the cosmos itself. There's news about dark matter.
Potentially big news. Researchers looked at this unexplained gamma ray glow coming from near our galactic center. They believe they found pretty compelling evidence that could finally confirm dark matter's existence.
Dark matter being that invisible stuff making up, what, over a quarter of the universe?
That's the one. Still theoretical, mostly. This isn't proof positive yet, but it's strong evidence. The real confirmation might come from the Cherenkov Telescope Array Observatory being built in Chile. That facility could potentially settle the question. Imagine finally seeing evidence of dark matter.
That would rewrite some textbooks. Okay, one more fascinating, maybe even slightly weird science story about us. Human intelligence.
Yeah, this one's a bit mind-bending. A new study suggests our intelligence might have a very strained origin linked to lead exposure.
Lead, like the toxic metal.
Exactly. The evidence suggests early humans were exposed to environmental lead naturally occurring, maybe from soil or water, for potentially 2 million years before anyone was mining it. This exposure seems to have driven the evolution of a protective genetic mutation.
A mutation to tolerate lead.
Sort of, yes. And here's the really wild part. The theory proposes that this very specific genetic adaptation, this ability to cope with low-level lead toxicity that other hominins like Neanderthals might not have had. This might have been one of the key evolutionary advantages that somehow unlocked our capacity for complex language, abstract thought, and intricate social coordination.
Wait, so you're saying accidentally eating contaminated dirt millions of years ago might be partly responsible for, for us having this conversation right now, for developing complex grammar?
That's the core idea being put forward. It links environmental stress from a naturally occurring toxin directly to a potential cognitive leap. It's a very counterintuitive take on human evolution, moving beyond just brain size or climate. Absolutely fascinating if it holds up.
Definitely puts a different spin on things. Okay, to wrap up, let's quickly touch on some trending AI tools that help with productivity. Rather than just list names, what's the underlying theme here?
The big theme seems to be automation and giving everyone an AI assistant for complex tasks. Think about AI AppGen in Retool. It lets you build sophisticated data dashboards just by typing instructions in plain English. No coding needed, basically. Democratizing data analysis.
Right, taking complex tasks and simplifying them. And things like Fruitful for competitor tracking.
Yeah, instead of someone spending hours manually checking competitor websites and news, Fruitful gives you daily, automated insights. It's about proactive intelligence, not just data gathering.
And for the tech teams, there are tools like Otto from Ascend.io's Agentic Workflows.
Exactly. Otto is pitched as an AI teammate for data engineers. It helps design workflows, troubleshoot pipelines, catch errors. It's like having an expert pair programmer, but for data infrastructure. So across the board, these tools are about embedding AI to make complex processes faster, easier, and more efficient, whether that's building an app, tracking rivals, or managing data flows. It mirrors that civil story using AI for tangible efficiency gains.
Makes sense. It's all about practical application now.
So a final thought for you to chew on. Just think about the range today. We talked about AI optimizing something as mundane, yet essential, as sidewalk repairs with civil, potentially quadrupling efficiency. And in the same breath, we discussed SpaceX validating the final hardware test needed to actually send humans to Mars. The pace of innovation, from the hyperlocal street level to interplanetary travel, is just staggering. It's happening everywhere all at once.
A truly incredible scope of change. Well, that's our deep dive based on your sources for today. If these insights were valuable, please do follow the AI Brief and share this deep dive with anyone else you think needs a quick way to get up to speed. Thanks for joining us.